Hi, everyone. I am Alicia. I am a social media manager here at Wingnut Social. And if you want to find out more about us right here, you can go to wingnutsocial.com. We also have a podcast. So I know most of you are probably expecting Darla. She unfortunately had a dental emergency, Darla. But this is our podcast designed by Wingnut Social, and it is a marketing and business podcast for interior designers. You can find out more by going to our website or check us out on Instagram at Wingnut Social on Instagram. Let's see the next one. And we have a Wingnut Academy launching soon. So if you don't know what to do with Instagram, because I get it, Instagram is always changing. We are going to be teaching you exactly what to do, exactly what to post, how to find hashtags, all that good stuff. Coming soon, you can go to wingnutsocial.com/wingnut-academy and register to be on our list for that. And we actually have a YouTube channel now. So you can actually find this webinar on YouTube. So subscribe to Wingnut Social on YouTube. And we have our podcast episodes on there as well and some other fun stuff. So check us out there. And let's see. Let's go ahead and go to the next one, Abby. Okay, so if you stay to the end of the webinar, we actually have a special SEO offer for you. So that's exciting. And I'm going to hand it over to our guest, Claire. She's going to teach you all of the good stuff to make sure you have a profitable business. And yeah. Here she is.
Thanks, Alicia. It's so exciting to be here. And I miss Darla. You're great too, but I do love my Darla Powell. So Darla, I hope that you're feeling better and that you are getting everything sorted out with your lovely teeth. So hello to everyone for being here. This is I always love doing these presentations. I love sharing what I learned. So I'm going to dive into it. I'm going to share my screen with you guys here. And I do believe, Alyssa, you say, unless I'm incorrect, that this is being recorded. So anyone watching, if they have to hop out, or anyone who signed up, they will get a replay. They'll get an email with a replay link.
Yes, absolutely. So we're going to, as long as you've registered, we will send the replay to you by email. And also, just so you all know, there will be a Q&A section at the end. So go ahead and drop your questions in the Q&A box and Claire can answer them towards the end.
I will. It's my favorite part. Okay. Can you see my screen here? You can see this okay? It's all good?
Yes. Yes. Everything's good.
All right, you guys. Well, I'm very excited to be here. Thanks to Darla and the Wingnut Social for having me. And I'm excited about her academy coming out. There's just so much to know, as you said, about Instagram, social media. It's so overwhelming. So I know that Darla will do a fabulous job in helping designers to make their way through that craziness that is the path of the I call it the Instagram, the unicorn. It's like a unicorn. Anyway, so today though, we're talking about something a little bit different. I'm sharing details in my presentation about defining your deliverables and refining your rates. What does this mean? I'm going to share all this with you. In case you're not familiar with me first, I'm just going to let you know that I am Claire Jefford. I'm a certified interior decorator, and I started my award-winning firm, 11 years ago now, over 11 years ago. We're the highest reviewed design professionals in the Toronto area with over 120 reviews. I'm also a respected business coach within the industry. And this year, we just developed our own academy, which is the Interior Design Boss Academy. It's our signature course for designers 0 to 5 years in business. So the doors of the academy open just a few times a year. I can share more with you guys afterwards about that, but it's going really well. We're in our second week, and I know that some of my boss members are on here today. So hello, hello. I was voted the top influencer 3 years running. I do speaking engagements and panel discussions and live broadcasts from various design events across North America. I love to travel. I love meeting you guys in person. And I also run a highly engaged Facebook group, which is private and it's just for interior designers. It's called Interior Design Business Strategies. And we have over 6,000 design professionals from all over the world. So if you are not already in my group, you go to Interior Design Business Strategies on Facebook. There are 3 questions. If you don't answer them, my sister is my office manager. She is the gatekeeper. You need to answer those 3 questions in order to be considered for approval. So hopefully I will see you there if you're not already familiar with Interior Design Business Strategies, or as I like to say, IDBS, where there is no BS. All right, so I start off a lot of presentations and discussions with these next two slides, because this is what is most important in your life, in your world. And it's really important for you to understand that, number one, there's more than one path to the top of the mountain, right? So there's not just one way of doing it that's successful, and that's the only way, and you have to go that way. There are lots of different ways that we can do different things, but obviously here I'm talking about your interior design business. And so we're going to go through some of the different services that you can offer, and how, you can charge for those services, and how much money you can make with those services. And what's really important, that I want you to never forget is that, comparison is killer. When we compare ourselves to others, we don't know what other people's goals are. We don't know really a lot about other people that are doing stuff except what we see on social media. And so you need to consider where you are at in your life, what's important to you right now, and what else you've got going on. Have you got little ones? Have you got an elderly parent that you're taking care of? Maybe your other half is traveling a lot. So your business needs to work for you, and you need to set it up in a way that your model is going to make you happy, and how that's going to look different to all of us. So there's definitely more than one path to the top of the mountain. And do we ever reach the top of the mountain? Because we keep moving the goalposts, right? I love the journey. I love the journey. All right. And so it's really important. I want you to do you. So here's me here, this crazy, picture that I had my photographs done quite a while ago. And, I just like to have fun. Of course, I'm a business boss, but I'm also really outgoing. I'm a people person. I like to have a good time. I don't take myself too seriously, but that doesn't mean there's not a juxtaposition there of being able to be a professional boss as well as having, a good time and enjoying what you're doing. We should be enjoying what we're doing, especially if you've left corporate or another job, to move into interior design. It's a difficult industry. It's complicated. There's a lot of moving parts, as you guys know, if you're been in it for any length of time, but whatever you do you, and do it unapologetically. And if you've got to switch things up, that's the best part of owning your own business. You switch it up when you see necessary. So those are my first little pep talk and my rants. We're going to jump in now and talk about different menu of services that you can offer, and a few things that I want you to think about first. So first and foremost is, no matter which way you swing it, interior design, having a designer is a luxury, okay? Even if you're DIYing a little bit, or you're hiring someone for a consultation only, it is a luxury, just like it's a luxury to have a wedding planner or a personal trainer. These are luxury services that we're offering. So I've sort of titled this here class act, okay? But within that, as with everything, there's different levels, right? There's different levels that you can offer. So this is really going to be key to identify where in here you land, to determine now what services you're going to offer, and then what your rates are going to be. So we're going to start at the high-end luxury boutique. I mean, you hear the word luxury boutique and it just sounds so beautiful, doesn't it? It sounds very exquisite, very exclusive. And so maybe you're trying to attract clients who are fully high end. There's, no middle of the road happening here, right? Everything is custom, everything you're selecting for them. You're the one whose design vision is going forward. Maybe it's a design and build, but this is a high-end luxury boutique service. We also have specialty design services. So what does that mean, Claire? So that could mean kitchen and bath design. Maybe you want to focus, maybe you've had a baby and you realize, oh my gosh, there's a big hole in, the sort of marketplace out there for, addressing nurseries and making your nursery a beautiful place to be, right? Or kids' rooms, or, really as studios. I mean, now obviously over the years, the last couple of years, we've seen a lot more home studios. So maybe you want to have a specialty design service. So think outside the box of what that could mean, if that's sort of where you want to niche yourself. I call this next one mainstream opulence. And that's really, I don't want to call it middle of the road, because that doesn't sound very classy, but this is, I would say, we do have some high-end luxury clients, but I wouldn't call our firm like a boutique. Like I feel like the clients that we service are similar to myself in terms of personality or where they're at in their life. And they have budgets that are good budgets, but not like, you know, I'm getting a McLaren versus a Ferrari sort of thing, you know, if we were to compare it to cars, right? So so I just called it mainstream opulence, which, you know, we think that was quite nice when we came up with that word. So that might be where you are. Collaborative connection, that I'm referencing something like a designer by your side service, which I'll talk a little bit more about, but maybe you're not fully, you know, managing or overseeing the project. Maybe you're working with the client to help them in different ways to bring their project, you know, make their project, enhance their project, to make it better. Maybe you're not necessarily getting to the finish line, maybe you are, but you're collaborating with them. You like to have that collaboration, maybe not having so much control. Excuse me. And then the last one is a do-it-yourself. Okay. And again, like I said, it's still luxury, right? You still have a consultation, a paid consultation. Someone is helping you make these decisions, you know, one-on-one, as opposed to Googling or going to YouTube sort of thing. So maybe you want to work more with clients who, you know, if you are busy with little kids, you may not want to look at projects that are like 2 years, 18 months, right? You might be like, that is just too much for me, and I need to do something that's going to work for me right now. So maybe I'm going to be more of a consultant only at this point, or a designer for a day, and you're helping clients pick finishes for new builds or kitchens and that sort of thing. So, you know, so figure out first where you land and where you want to be in here. And, you know, you might want to be at one and then move up to another after a year or two. Like, you know, so again, we need to pivot in our businesses to make sure that we can always be growing and looking at what's the most fun for us and what we're enjoying the most, and obviously profiting as well. Here, I just want you to remember that your overall brand, your desired clientele that you're looking at, you know, obtaining as clients, and then your project preferences, excuse me, will assist in shaping your rates. All right, so, you know, we had someone ask us, oh, sorry, I have to have a drink. Okay, see, I do talk a lot. Sometimes I lose my voice. Yeah, so we've had a gentleman, it was very funny. It was a few years ago, and he landed on our website after the lovely Nicole Heimer, who gave me this mug. And I know she works with Wingnut and many others in our industry for web design. We obviously were really proud of our website. It looks great. And we had a gentleman ask, looking through our portfolio, when we were on the discovery call, he said to me, is all of your work like really pretty and this fancy? And I was like, well, I hope so. Yeah, I mean, I do. Like, that's sort of the message I'm trying to convey, that when you hire us, you're going to get, you know, a beautifully finished space, or, you know, we have a certain, I don't know if I have a certain look, but, you know, there is, yeah, you're going to get quality stuff, and it's going to look good depending on how you use our services. So I thought that was quite an interesting, I've never had anyone say that since, you know, but I want people to land on my website. I want them to see that it's a beautiful looking website, that we have beautiful portfolio, that it flows, it's easy, you know, to, you know, go through. And so I want that sort of overall brand messaging for potential clients and for leads to have that feeling. Right. So your website is really important. You know, don't have a website that, you know, all the lights are on in the images, that you have a before and after photo, you know, shown on the same page, and people are wondering, is this the before or the after? Like, that's always the worst. Leave those for the blog posts. Anyway, I digress, but that's sort of like, just remember that you want to look good. You want your website to look good. What is your overall messaging? And that is going to reflect what your rates are going to be. That's going to help shape your rates, you know, on what you're going to be charging clients and how you're going to offer them different services. So here are some examples of different services that you can offer in your business. Remember, if you have any questions, make sure that you put them in the Q&A. And I know that Alicia Wingnut is going to be having a look at that. We're going to leave some time at the end. So first and foremost, consultations. For me, I say every service that we offer starts with a paid consultation. Okay, I don't go and do free looky-loos, as one of my friends Cheryl calls them. You know, we're not giving free advice at a consultation. Like, I will give as much as I can at a consultation, and that's why I charge for it. And I also feel that you get better clients when you charge. The higher our rates have gone over the years, the better the clients that we get. You know, and I do like to say that a starting point should be about $500 minimum, but you do have to have your stuff together. You do have to be organized. You do have to have a good looking website, right? If you're thinking, great, I'm going to go out, Claire said $500 for a consult, but what are you doing in that consult? What are you offering? What's the lead up? What's happening ahead of time, right? I just think 500 because again, you're luxury no matter what. We're now at 800, you know, for 2-hour consultation. And, you know, so if people are hiring us, you know, even if it's just for 2 hours, you know, we are just getting such better clients. And been, you know, over the years, I've been crafting this as managing expectations. That's my whole thing, and having your processes in place and having yourself organized. So a consultation, and you could just do consultations only, by the way. I'm going to go through some figures here with you shortly, and you're going to see sort of how we worked out some numbers for a couple of these different services. But, you know, if you wanted to just be the consultation queen, and I did coach a lady a few years ago, and that's what she called herself. She named herself the consultation queen. And she said she did about 6 consultations a month at $600. She was sort of slowing down in her business. So that's nearly $40,000 a year. And she was solely consultations. Good for you, right? She knew where she was at in her life, knew what she wanted to do with her business, and that's what she focused on. E-design. So obviously this became very popular through 2020 with the pandemic. I've never really taken on e-design. Because I love meeting people. I love getting in people's homes. I'm a people person. But I do know a lot of people that have great success with e-design, Jenna Gaddisuk being one of them. And she was recently on Wingnut, and Darla is also, as Wingnut Social, doing part of their new contest that they have going right now with Mydoma. So if you're interested in e-design, search up e-design tribe. Designer for a day. So designer for a day is, as it sounds, we see a client, let's say for a 2-hour consultation, and then we decide in that consultation based on a lot of things that we talk about, A, on the discovery call, and then B, in the consult, you know, what is the client's budget? What are their timelines? What are the scope of work? You know, where are they at in their project? You know, and so if a client is sort of already started a project and now the contractor is like needing, you know, finishes and countertops and flooring, and they're getting sort of stressed and they didn't realize, you know, what they were going to need, you know, all of these things and how overwhelming it was going to be, then designer for a day, if you can get in there in time to help them, you know, then I think that's a great service, right? And so we charge $225 an hour, and the designer for a day, I think, is 6 hours. And I'm just thinking, if the math is right, it's about $13.50 for a day. Right. So, but we assess that ahead of time. We figure out what their needs are. I have a whole blog on it. So clairejefford.com, go to the blog for coaching. I have a whole blog with my step-by-step process for that. Okay. Designer by your side services. This is a minimum of 20 hours. And this is much more, not hands-on necessarily, but the designer for a day is literally one and done. We're not purchasing items for clients. You know, we're not getting involved in custom treatments at all, but the designer by your side, you could, because it's a minimum of 20 hours. Okay. Again, I have a whole blog and a video on that you guys can go and check. And I talk about the pros and the cons. Just quickly throw in here that, you know, one of the ladies that I coached, she said she likes designer by your side, but she sort of felt like it was foreplay without the sex. Okay. And so what I mean by that is, you know, you may not get to the finish line. Right? I mean, this is a designer by your side. It's not like a full custom project. So again, these are just ideas of what you can do. I hope you love that analogy and that no one was offended. You know, so just keep that in mind. With that, you might not, I still, for years, I've offered this service, and we are still able very often to get photographs. Even if the client sort of picked something and we didn't want, there's usually a corner or an angle that you can get of a few things to still get photographs for your portfolio. Full floor redesign. So Catherine is working in here right now with me. She's my she's been with me 3 years, my design assistant. And she is in her 4th year of college for interior design. And we're doing, right now, we're going to present next Tuesday at 8:30 for clients that we worked with years ago for a full floor redesign. So this is a main concept redesign, like they want to take out a wall in between the kitchen and the living room, but they're not sure what the layout's going to be like. Can they fit in an island? How big can the island be? What about the living room now? So we do these full floor redesigns, and the way that we package them for our business is that they're concept only at this point. So we would love to work with these clients afterwards. And they've said to us, like, we are going forward with you. We want you to help us with all the furnishings and everything for our main floor, you know. But at this point, I'm just focusing on the concept. And so our full floor redesign concepts, we include 2 different options for layout. We have 3D renderings that we do. We give a presentation that's printed so they can have something tangible there. And those start at $5,000. And we've just upped ours. So when this is called defining your deliverables and refining your rates, you should always be sort of looking at your rates and seeing, how is this working? Was that good? Did the client understand? Or this was a success? Or let's stop offering this service, right? And then tweaking what your price is going to be based off of that. Okay, so no, we're not picking finishes in this full redesign at this point. We are giving them a plan. Kitchen and bath. So of course you can focus on kitchen and baths. It's a great place to focus on. Custom design and decor. So that's really with our full service management that we offer. So we're working with lovely clients, Lisa and her husband, again, for the second time. We're doing their bedroom. She's calling it the Purple Passion Pit. She's very excited about it. And this is a full custom design. We charge $8,000 for our services for the room from start to finish. We figure out that it takes about 40 hours for us to do that. And then we have charged them just over $30,000 for all of the custom furnishings. And so, you know, you can work out from there, you know, how much profit you're going to make based on what your margins are. Okay. So we love the full service design as well. It's a lot more work. It's a lot more work. It's not a designer day, right? This is way more work, as you guys know. And then we have design and build. So maybe you build from the ground up and you're a design build company, you know, so these are all the different types of services that you can offer in your interior design business. And how do you love this picture here? This is my sister's custom room that we did with a spinning shoe rack that holds about 100 pairs of shoes. Yes, she has no children and she loves her fashion and wardrobe. Okay, so why clarity? Clarity is necessary. All right, why is clarity necessary? All right, so 4 reasons here. Number 1 is articulate when you communicate. So, you know, it can be overwhelming for sure as a design professional to know what services to offer. And there's so many options out there. You know, but you need to be able to be clear, because if you're unclear, like this lady here hugging her laptop, okay, your clients are going to be like, what, like, I don't understand. And you're not going to sell them past the consultation if you even get them to pass the discovery call, right? So you need to be crystal clear on what your services are. What are you offering? What is included? You know, in the service, and be able to really have those down, right? And I suggest, you know, you don't need like 12 offerings or even 8. Like we really keep ours to a consult, a designer for a day, designer by your side, the custom design, and the full redesign floor plan. And by the way, we have actually taken designer by your side off of our website right now. It says sold out because right now we've got other stuff going on. And that's the beauty of your business. It's not my most favorite service at this point because we have other clients that are going through with full service that we love. And I love coming to you guys doing presenting and talking at events and coaching as well. So, you know, that's the beauty of having your business. So again, you decide what you want for you, but you need to be able to really explain what it is that you're offering so your clients can understand, because most of them probably have not worked with a design professional before, right? Okay, and the other thing that's fabulous is that when you have clarity, then you can attract trusting clients. So think about it. If you're going to a surgeon, right? If you're getting some work done, whatever you're having done, you know, do you want the surgeon to sort of be like humming and hawing, and maybe you should do this and we'll try to do that, and I'm not sure what the price will be? Or do you want someone to be like, here's how we work, here's a brochure, you can have a look at it here, here's what some of our clients have had to say, these are some of the things that may go wrong, like you want that professional who is very clear on what it is that they're delivering to you and what they're going to be offering, you know, for in exchange for, you know, payment for their services. So you can attract trusting clients. And this is what I talk about in the Interior Design Boss Academy. If you do not have clients who trust you, you have nothing. If you do not have trades who trust you, if you don't build good relationships with your vendors and there's trust there, you have nothing. Okay, it's going to be a constant pushback, constant frustration. You're going to be pulling your hair out. And so when clients don't trust you, that's when they question your invoices. That's when they say, hey, I saw this thing for cheaper over here. How come you're charging me this? Okay, that doesn't happen with our clients because our clients trust us from the start, because we're very clear to set out the expectations of what kind of services we offer. And if you think you might want to go and shop somewhere else, then you are not a custom design and project management client of ours. But you could be a designer by your side, because I'm charging you hourly, and I'm not going to get offended if you don't buy everything we suggest. You're just charging, you're paying me hourly. Okay, so, but without trust with your clients, if you don't have your processes organized, if you're not, confident when you speak, you don't have your services in a way that you know exactly what would be best for each, potential lead on the phone, you're not going to get them past a certain point. And then if you do, if you BS your way there, it's going to be constant, like wall, like the whole way through. And it's not going to be a pleasurable experience. So we want to attract trusting clients. The other thing that, you definitely want to be doing is managing their expectations. I have a whole chapter in Liliana Nigara's book, her second book that she did, not the one Darla. Darla was 3, I was number 2. And it's all about managing clients' expectations. And so one of the things that we do is right after the initial phone call, we send clients, a standard email, it's a template, and then we just pop in their name and it sends them to our website for services. They can learn more about our services. It's sometimes it gives them links to a couple blog posts, depending on what our conversations were. We could send them an example of, here's an example presentation, but that's also something that we sit down with at the initial consultation. We bring a binder, and in the binder, we have the different services. What's designer for a day? So we can go, oh, here's some examples of how we can help you for designer for a day, which, by the way, I have contracts for designer for a day, designer by your side, and custom design and project management. And each one comes with these service outlines. The service outlines are a super amazing marketing tool for your business. So you can sit down with your client and have these conversations early on at the consultation, right? And you can say, you know what, based on what I'm hearing, I think this would work for you. Let's have a little sit down. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about this service. And then you show them, if it's custom design project management, you show them, what does a mood board look like? Here's this idea of the mood board that we're going to send you. These are going to be all custom. We're going to bring fabrics and finishes, and you're going to be able to touch and feel them. We'll bring the paint colors. Oh, and here we have like our 3D design. This is what the room is going to like, the drawings that you can expect to receive from us. So you're managing their expectations. You can sell better, right? And you feel good and they're excited about it, right? Because it's okay looking at someone else's plans, but when it's theirs, it's super exciting. All right. And of course, we need clarity. It's a necessity, because for profit planning, how can you plan what kind of money you want to earn at the end of the year and income that you want to generate if you don't know what your prices are for services, right? So we're going to get a little nitty gritty here with some math, okay? And I shared this screenshot in my group, Interior Design Business Strategies, a while ago. So I don't know if you can read it well here, but it's pretty big on my big screen. So I'm just going to walk you through it, but you can take a screenshot of this. You can, look at it afterwards, but really what I'm showing you is that for a designer for a day earnings snapshot. Okay, so if you bill your hourly rate, which I'm going to say is $175, okay, and if you times it by 6, because that's what we do a designer for a day, right? 6 hours, $1,050. Okay, if you book 2 of those per month and multiply the day rate by 2, okay, then you're at $2,100. So every month you're going to do 2 of these designer for a day, and you're going to make $2,100. All right. Then for the year, you multiply that by 12 and you come to $25,200. And don't forget, I want you to add the fee in for those 24 consultations. Okay, don't give them away for free. You're gonna have these 24 consultations. Let's say you charge $500 each. That's another $12,000. So this designer for a day plus the 24 consultations, $37,200 a year. That's just working 16 hours a month, right? 6 hours for a designer for a day times 2. And then your consultation 2 hours times 2. No procurement, no managing trades, and no follow-up. No follow-up is key, right? It's not like, oh, I have another question. You need to manage those expectations when you talk about your services. If they have a lot of other questions, you know what? Let's do another consultation. Okay, let's do another consult. Or maybe we need another designer by your side. Okay. The idea here is you're done. You're not we go to our trade supply, sorry, we go to like, it's a store here that we do, it's called Tile, and it's for countertops and flooring and hardwood and tiles, obviously. And we're able to go in there, and that's where we source things from. And then we bring the client in afterwards. We don't like bringing the client with us, while we're shopping. We usually split it into two, but I don't want to get too complicated here. Go read the blog. It's all in the blog. And then we just leave everything on a form with our rep that's there. And we just say, okay, this is for this client. Maybe this is their contractor. Maybe this is, and I'm their designer, but I don't get involved in purchasing the tile at that point. I'm not interested in doing that. The whole idea of this is one and done, okay? And if you really lean into it, which you can, I'm gonna show you and talk to you and just really briefly hear about this. If you really lean into designer for a day services, you could easily double this to $74,400 or even triple it to nearly $112,000 a year. By working 16 hours a month, now you times that by 3, 48 hours a month. That's not bad considering most people work 40 hours a week. And of course, on top of that, you're going to have your social media. If you don't outsource it to Wingnut Social, you're going to have accounting to do. You got some paperwork, of course, but actual working hours. So this was from someone in my group, a lovely designer who had never really heard of Designer for a Day until she joined my group. And we actually had the pleasure of meeting in Napa earlier this year. She posted this in my group. She booked and finished my first Designer for a Day thanks to Claire Jefford's advice a few weeks ago, because I did a Will, which is what I did and what I learned. It's a live that I do in my group every couple of weeks. So she has 4 more lined up before the end of October, right? And so this was posted September 10th, I believe this was posted. So I have another lady who I've coached, and she told me one time she had 8 booked in the month of May. She messaged me on Messenger and said, I have to tell you, I have 8 Designer for a Days booked for, for May. And she has 6 kids, 5 or 6 kids. She's a busy mom. She doesn't have time to take on long-term projects, right? Not that I'm saying there's anything wrong with that. We love our sort of like longer term and where we are, choosing everything. That's awesome. But this is an actual business model that you could do. Okay. But let's say you want to let's mix the two up. I'm going to show you that in a minute. But first, we're going to talk about custom room design. So we average 40 hours for a room design. Okay. And so that is, from not including the 2-hour consults, that is everything afterwards when we're gearing up to do our step-by-step, which I'm sharing that actually. That's coming out soon for those of you in my Boss Academy in module 5. I think I'm going through my exact step-by-step. So we do that in the Interior Design Boss Academy. If any of this is like, how do I know what to do? Go look up Interior Design Boss Academy. We're going to be, opening up that for registration soon. And so we charge 1 room project. We actually charge $8,000, but I just thought I'd bring it down here to 7. We used to charge 6. Okay, so again, you need to know that this is at least 40 hours of work for 1 room, right? From like doing a layout design, to specifying all the finishes, to doing a presentation, to implementation of ordering all the furniture, tracking the furniture, and then install day. If it's 1 room, I mean, it's easy, 4 hours, 5 hours, right? So, that's what we've averaged it out at. All right. And then on top of that, again, we usually have a minimum, what we say, we're saying like 25 to 30,000 per room for furnishings only. So I'm just to make the math easy, I'm saying like just average $10,000 profit on those furnishings. Okay. If it's 25 to 20 or 20 to 30,000. Okay. So just to keep the math easy there, $17,000 per project. So let's say you do 6 room projects per year at 17,000. Now you're at $102,000 for just those 6 projects. Okay. Add a fee of $500 per consult because you're charging for that consult. And that's an extra $3,000. So now you're at $105,000 and you've done 6 room projects per year. Okay. Again, these are all examples, very feasible, very probable. Like, I'm not telling you something that's BS. Okay. That you guys know me. If you know me well enough that it's not that. So now what I want to do is just show you how you could mix these two, right? And so you've got custom design and project management. You're going to take on 6 clients per year, 1 room design. Maybe you're a solopreneur. Maybe you have someone part-time. Okay, this is definitely feasible if you're a solo. So it's $105,000 per year. Then let's say you're going to mesh in those designer for a day services, 24 clients, 2 a month, and you are pumping out that $37,200 in the 1 and done. So for a total, and I've done this math right. I hope I've done this math right. But a total of working, if you average it all out, 36 hours per month. 36 hours per month. I swear that still sounds low, but you know, we did triple check this, so I hope it's right, right? So that's 40 hours times 6 clients, and then that's 24 clients times, what did we say before? 16 hours per month, okay? So yeah, the math is right. It's $142,000 per year that you could be earning, okay? Obviously, we have expenses on top of that, but I'm saying I know from coaching a lot of designers, some of them tell me they made $5,000 in a year, or $8,000 in a year, or $20,000. Like, that's not enough. We need to up the game. We need to be confident in what we're providing. We need to articulate when we communicate so our clients will trust us, and make sure that we are promoting ourselves out there and doing our marketing. Now, this here sounds like a lot, 24 clients. Yeah, it is a lot. So that's the only thing. You need to be feeding the funnel, right? You need to be always having, you know, clients for that sort of service, right? But like I said, look at that lady that posted. She has 4 booked in the next month. Another lady had 8 booked, because when you can do these, this is a little more for someone who's going to DIY it, obviously, but they don't know where to start. So they're going to be like, you know what, for a consult and a designer for a day, like, let's $1,500 and I can pretty much have like my finishes picked out, right? It's amazing. You could also do styling. Maybe you're going to specialize in styling, right? And that'll be your thing. You know, and you can help people finish at the end of a project when they don't get to finish. But these people tell their friends and they tell their friends. And if you've marketed yourself properly and got them on your email list, and you stay in touch with your clients once a month, you know, through an email, let them know, here's a project we worked on, or here's our latest designer for a day. We worked with a client to get them the finishes for a kitchen and a bathroom. So I'm not saying you're going to get through a whole house. Okay. So don't ask me questions about how are you doing a whole, no, you're not. You need to work out how long it takes you to select finishes for each space, right? And then you need to decide, okay, what can I tell this client that we can actually get through? And here's the kicker. Here's what you definitely have to do. You need to let your clients know, especially for these sort of services, that the swifter they are at making decisions, the more quickly you're going to get through stuff. If you show them a tile and 2 different options, let's say for bathroom, and they're not sure, and they walked in the store and they saw something over there, and now they're wondering about that, you can say, you know what, we can look at that, but just so you know, we probably won't have time then to go look at any lighting or whatever else you may have had time to allot for in that day, right? So you need to be very clear with people to say, swift decision making, and we're going to get more done, but I'm not going to get your whole house done in one day. I do not have a magic wand. So this is where you have to be very clear about letting clients know what they can expect from that service. I mean, we had someone email us the other day and they asked us, after a consultation, will they have design plans? Will they know what colors to paint their house? And so, you know, Karen replied, well, if it's a color consult, yes, Claire will pick out all the colors for a whole house. I can do that in 2 hours, no problem. But will you have design plans and layout? No, you know, so we had to manage those expectations. We said, you know what, if you're interested, here's our fee. Here's our timelines. Let's hop on a call and I can explain it to you, you know, and they never did, because I think the fee was too high. And I think they were expecting a lot sort of after that consult. So that's fine, because, you know, you want to make sure that people aren't expecting something that's unreasonable for you to actually give them. Okay. So review regularly and pivot as needed. All right. So we're going to wrap up here in a minute so I can take some of your questions. I see that they're there. So I want you to consider, first and foremost, like right from the top, like we talked about, what are your goals? What makes you happy, right? I don't care what Susan's doing over here. I'm not worried about what Caitlin's doing over there or what Jennifer's doing, okay? What do I want to do? I'm going to be inspired by these gals, right? And other designers, and hopefully I'm inspiring you today with some ideas, but you've got to form your business model to work for you, okay? So what are your goals? And what makes you happy? That the answer isn't always cash, right? I just gave you ideas of money because I want you to know that, you know, you can make good money by doing some of these even one-off services. Okay. But maybe you only want to work part-time. Maybe, you know, so you figure out what works for you to make you happy. Number one. What are some of your best revenue streams? All right. You know, of course, we love the custom design and project management, but I really don't want to take on 20 of those projects. It's a lot of work. I would need another Catherine with me. I might need, you know, Karen to do extra hours, right? Like, it's a lot, and I might have to do extra. So we purposely take on a limited amount of projects at any one time so that we can, make sure that we can accommodate what we want to do. And so look at your best revenue streams and then work it out, as I just showed you there. Reverse engineer it. All right. Consider if you want to scale your business. So maybe you do want to hire a team. Maybe you're thinking it's time I hire a junior designer and someone else to help me, a personal assistant, right? So always be looking at that. And then you're like, now I could take on more of these projects, or maybe I could go into the luxury boutique if I, did X, Y, and Z sort of thing. Of course, the current climate, I mean, that again, if anything has taught us anything since the pandemic, you need to see what's happening. You're going to have to pivot. A lot of people went to e-design as soon as, COVID hit, so you have to see what's happening. And right now, honestly, like, I don't want to do a ton of furnishing projects because all of the delays that we're still seeing, right? Customer service is lousy in a lot of places, so if I do a one and done with a designer for a day, it's all on me, right? It's all on me. A consultation is all on the value I provide. I don't have to rely on other people, which is, proving to be sort of crazy at this point in time. And then you can explore different opportunities. Maybe you want to work with brands. Maybe you want to attend events or do blogging or something. So just always consider, what is it that makes you happy, and look at these different things in your business that will help you make decisions on how you want to move forward for the next 6 months, or quarter of the year. All right, so for contract templates, helpful resources, and for being a respected interior design boss, check out interiordesigndocuments.com. I have a lot of stuff there that will help you guys. A lot of free resources too that I also have on my website. When you join my interior design business strategies group and answer the questions, you'll get my free welcome packet, which I'm going to talk about on the next screen. And look, I'm even wearing the same shirt that I was wearing for that photo shoot that day. So interiordesigndocuments.com. So all of the design services I just talked about, designer for a day, designer by your side. If you're like, how do I actually articulate that? How do I put them together? How do I sell them? You can see in the contract templates, it has also outline of services, which will help you immensely. Trust me, you can redesign them. You take the, you can put them into Canva, you must put your own logo and your font and your branding and your images on there. But they're a great selling tool. So if you're on the fence about this, I even have a bundle and you get all three for even a reduced price, and everything's that you must talk to your lawyer in your state. I'm in Canada, but these are the templates, which are going to be way cheaper than doing it from scratch like I did. Okay. And the Interior Design Boss Academy, this is underway now. But when you go to interiordesignbossacademy.com, the pages right now, it's not fully, because we just closed the doors. But if you scroll all the way down to the bottom, you're going to see an option to get my free welcome packet, which is a template in Canva. So make sure you go and get that, because that is a great resource to talk to your clients, to start a conversation in the consultation. Don't take the tour. I'm very much against the tour. Thank you. My goodness, look at that, 11:47. How is that? Alicia, are you there? Thank you so much for everybody to be here, and connect with me on Instagram. I'm looking forward to answer your questions in a second, because if we can't get through all the questions, go over to Instagram, go find me, DM me, and say, hey, I watched your amazing webinar with Wingnut today. And I have a couple of questions, and I will voice message you back. Okay. So thank you. And I can't wait to see all these questions, Alicia. Oh my goodness.
I know. Perfect. Okay. So just a reminder, because I know a lot of you are throwing the questions in the chat. If you do have a question, there is a separate Q&A section. If you could add those there, just so they're not getting lost. And we are going to start. Okay. So first, do you measure during your consultations, or bring any paint swatches, or is it more of a meet and greet to get more information of the project?
Okay, so the way that I talk about my consultations, and I actually have a free design services and rates. Again, guys, just message me on Instagram and say, can I get your rate sheet? And I will send it to you for free. I explain to clients, depending on how I see the conversation going, and because you sort of have an idea if someone wants to go full custom and they just want you to deal with handle all the details, or whether they're more like, we just need some help. And so I explain to people that it's either a working design session, where we come we ask people in the questionnaire, we ask you to list your 3 top priorities, right? And based on that, if they want paint, see all these large paint boards behind me. I have another, they're from Maria Killam, by the way, if you guys are interested in that. So I have doubles of them. So I have ones that come with me to the consults. I will bring those. I will bring paint decks. If they say, we're not sure about like our kitchen and how to put together, finishes for that, I have a Caesar Stone little sample book that you can all get from a Caesar Stone rep. I'm not picking it at this point. I'm calling this a working design session, so I can help and educate you to show you possibilities of what you can do, but I'm not selecting necessarily their finishes. So you need to be really clear to let people know. I would only measure now if I had time at the end of a consultation, but only one room. Like if it's a main floor, that is the next step is Catherine's coming back with me at the measure visit. My GC is coming back with me at that same visit so we can be efficient with our time. We're measuring and Walter and I are walking around the space with the clients, having a conversation. So don't try to squeeze too much in and feel like you have to do that for your client after, because you want to getting measurements is really important, but you need to let them know what is that consultation. Is it a working design session, or I call it a stepping stone, which is a getting to know you so we can work together further. Oh, I can't hear you.
Sorry, forgot I muted myself. So next question. Do you recommend sticking to just 1 to 2 services, or can you offer maybe 3 to 4 services? What are the downsides to offering more services?
So there's the expression that I don't necessarily agree with, which is niche is rich. There's that expression. I'm not saying I don't agree with it. I mean, it could go either way. Again, this is what I'm talking about, like you make your own path to the top of the mountain. There's not just one way. If you are loving kitchens and bath and that's all you want to do, you hone in on kitchen and bath and you become the best kitchen and bath expert in your area, right? And people know you for that, right? For us, because I sort of like to switch things up a little bit. We offer the consultation, designer for a day. I've taken off designer by your side. It's sold out right now. Custom design and project management. And I don't even think you'll find the full floor redesigns right now on my website, but we are doing some for a client. But I just think you start to get sort of over 5 and it gets a little bit confusing for not only for the client, but for you, like to really sort of, then you're like, well, you could do this, where we could buy that, or you could go online, and it just gets a little bit like, eh. So remember, it's like when you're offering, when you have kids and, you're offering them something for dinner, like you're not going to go to them like, do you want spaghetti and cheese? Do you want mac and cheese? Do you want this? Do you want that? Do you want a hamburger? Do you want that? Do you want this, or this? Oh, perfect. Right. Hopefully that answered the question.
Okay. And then what do you do when they exceed the selections in the contract or want a totally different scheme?
So this is where you need to do your research up front to really understand what the client wants. Like, what is it that they're looking after and that they're looking for? This is the research part that you do in your consultation and that we do with a questionnaire ahead of time. Sometimes we send people a link to a Pinterest board, or we're going through our own portfolio at the consultation so we can understand what their look is at, what they're looking for in terms of a look. We don't really exceed, because we let them know that, like, this is our 6 hours. This is the time that we have. This is what we're expecting to get done. If they totally want a different scheme, that's one of 2 things. Either you read them completely wrong, right? And you didn't do your job properly, or they're just really hard to please and they may be no pleasing them, right? So this is why you have to be crystal clear about what you can accomplish in the time. And then you say to them, that's a great question, what if we don't like what you selected? Well, my job is to find you something suitable. And so if you don't like it, we can discuss why you don't like it, but I'm going to do my research up front. So I'm going to make sure that we're picking suitable selections for you and in the right price range. If you don't like it, we can discuss that, but the revision policy is that this is a one and done. If you want us to come back to the drawing board, then it's an extra payment. So again, you just have to be super confident, and really be confident if you are, in being able to help clients make those selections and be quick with them.
Do you mark up goods? If so, do you expose the margin?
So when we're doing a custom design and project management, like, so if I'm doing a full bedroom, like we are listed right now for these clients, yeah, so we absolutely, we mark up. You have to, and I have a video on Instagram. It's called Double Dipping My Ass. So if anyone is thinking that, like, I can't charge for services and make money off of product, that's BS, because that's business 101. But when I first started, I'm telling you, I felt bad, and I felt like I had to disclose, and I had to share my discount and be very transparent about it. But you know what? We're the only ones that do that. I mean, my mechanic, he's charging me labor, and he's charging me for extra on my carburetor, my tires, whatever he's doing. My hairdresser is cutting my hair. I'm buying an iron off him. He's making money off that iron. I'm just glad that they're there to help me. And so when you have good clients, you don't need to be transparent. No one, I don't see anyone, I just find, go watch a video. It's ridiculous.
Perfect. And so what if someone does the designer for a day and needs like 2 extra hours? Would you then charge them for a 2-hour consultation?
So what I do with someone, great question. If they're a client who we did a 2-hour consultation, and then they hired me for designer for a day, and then at the end of the designer for the day, they're like, you know what, this has been so great. And I really was hoping we could get to the plumbing fixtures today or the lighting. But I'm happy with what we accomplished. I'd be like, you know what, that's probably just going to be a couple hours. Or if they have a questions, I won't charge them my full design. My consultation is $800 for 2 hours. That's like kind of the gateway, like getting in to like working with me. I want to know people are at a certain caliber and that they're willing to invest. So if it's another 2 hours, I'll be like, that's at my hourly rate. So it'll be $225, 2 hours minimum. I know I'm not going to be like, we'll do 90 minutes, right? I'm coming back to your house. I'm going to work hard for you. So I would do 2 hours minimum, and I would charge them my hourly rate.
And then, if they just want to interview you and review their project together, do you still charge the same consultation fee?
Yep. Because, I know sometimes people will say, well, what do I get for the 500 or the 500 or 800 or, what is happening? And I say, I know it sounds cocky when I say it right now. So hopefully people who know me know that I'm, pretty easygoing, as you can tell, but, and I just say, it's my time, and you get me as a design professional. I'm taking time out of my day to come and meet with you, to look at your project. If you want some ideas while we're on site, I will give you some ideas. I'll let you know how we work, and that's what you get. So I don't, I can't remember what if someone wants to do a meet and greet, I'm not a huge fan of a meet and greet, but I'm not totally against it, especially if the project sounds great, but you want it to be not in their house. Because once you're in their house, it now becomes a big question. They're going to ask you questions. You can't get away from that, right? So just be very clear again, and again, make it work for you, and do what you feel comfortable with. Try things a few times, switch it up if you don't like it.
And then for the designer for a day, do you just do 6 hours straight in one day, or would you possibly break it up like 3 hours one day, span it across multiple days?
Yeah, so we typically don't, I can see that question here from Kendall. Hi, Kendall. Okay. We typically don't do like 3D renderings in this. I mean, but, in that specific service. We're really doing, the majority that we do for that is going to be like someone who needs help with their kitchen and their bathroom or their laundry room, or they're doing a main floor renovation and they need help with their hardwood and a fireplace stone, or that sort of thing. So we're very clear to define what the scope of work is. And then we want to make sure that I like to split it into two. So again, if you go to my blog, if you go to clairejefford.com, there's a section in the blog, there's color and there's coaching. So you go to coaching and you can even search it, designer for a day. And I talked to you about how I do that in the step-by-step process. I actually like to, if I'm doing that sort of thing, I like to split it into two. So I split it, I will go to the design center after I've had the consult and I know exactly what they're looking for. I'll go to my tile place, my flooring place, and they have a room for me, which is great. And I can set it up in their boardroom, and I have my paint samples. I even pick grout colors, and I usually do a couple of options depending on how many spaces we're doing. And then I usually have them come in the day or two afterwards, like whenever we can, as quickly from there. And then I will present to them. And that way, if you need to change anything up, you're right there on site. So if they say, I really prefer a hexagon to a square, then you go, oh, right. And if you have your rep with you, use them and say, oh, can you help us find that same tile, but do you have it in a hexagon or a square or whatever, whichever was the way I just said it. Yeah, because I used to go to a client's home and I used to lug all of the tiles and do this designer for a day. And then if they wanted to change a couple of things, I have to schlep them all the way back to the store. And so if you have that opportunity, I find that to be way better. But yeah, we do split it. Again, you make it work for you.
Okay, so this person says, I have a lot of clients who have no problem paying the custom room design fees, but don't want to buy custom furnishings. Do you just tack 20% on to the sourced total, or do you contract them so they have to purchase trade only? Can you do partial trade and figure out how to mark up the difference?
So I mean, when we work with clients, this is why it's very good to have different services and to define those deliverables and have them at different rates. So when we have a client who we know does want custom furnishing and they cannot be bothered they're busy working professionals, they are not involved in the details, they just want to know it's being handled. I say, you're married to me, right? So that's part of, I say, you know what, we're married, this is, everything that we sort of source for you, we're sourcing from our trade only places, we're purchasing it for you. And you come at it from that angle that you are going to make this amazing for them. They are not going to have to hardly get involved and, just trust the process. And at the end of it, we'll be crying like you see on the shows, except this is real life and we'll have a glass of wine and it'll be great. So if I get an inkling that there's a client who does not want to invest in furnishings, or we have clients, like I said, with designer by your side. Some of them, they want to go shopping. They want to go, we will pick out finishes for them and we'll present them. And then 2 weeks later, they message us and go, hey, we really like that, but we were out at the weekend and we saw this. What do you think about this? Can you come by and look at it? I'm like, fine, I'll go do it. Like you're paying me by the hour, right? So, those clients I don't get upset with because that wasn't part of our agreement. Right? So you need to decide what's going to work for you. And that's why I would just say, just charge more rather than try to get caught up in the furnishings, unless you're doing custom furnishings. And that's the whole enchilada that they're in for.
And then, so someone said that they struggle figuring out the difference between the full custom service and designer by your side. In the first, do you pick everything and they approve or disapprove? Or does that mean that you just they don't go to the furniture store with you?
Well, I only shop at my trade only. So again, this is the way I can be articulated the most for you. As I just said, if we're custom design and project management, you're married to me. You're not shopping, you're not going elsewhere. You are letting us take care of all of the details. Designer by your side, maybe you like to shop. I'm not going to get my knickers in a twist if you're going to go and look at other stuff because you're paying me by the hour and that was our agreement. Right? So you just need to try to take a little bit of the emotion out for the designer by your side, because you might not get to that finish line, right? Where the designer, custom design and project management is very much, we're committed. We're working together. There's no cheating on me here. Oh, I just want to reply to Barbara there. Sorry, because I know I think she's in my area. Barbara, I use Eden Tilet for flooring, and it's in Burlington here. And then I have the decorating center, which we purchased. I don't have accounts with any supplier. We order everything from the decorating center, mainly.
Let's see. Oh, how do you come up with a minimum design fee or project fee for each project?
Well, I mean, the designer for a day is 6 hours. So you have to know yourself and know what you can accomplish in that time in order to relay that to the client, right? I've been doing this 11 years now. So I know that a one-room project is around 40 hours. So if you need to cut that up, again, I will message me on Instagram, okay, please, because it's just say, hey, Claire, I want your rate sheet, because I sort of go through that on how we do it. But you just need to break it down. How long is it going to take you to go back and do a site measure? We're usually 2 hours. We measure on site. We have my contractor come. If my window installer for treatments needs to come and measure windows, we get that all done, usually 2 hours, right? Then we start the plans, right? And then, between Catherine and I, we're working on them. We work out the chunks of time that it takes. And like I said, leave leave a good 5 hours, if not 6 or 7, for your install day, right? And like I said, I mainly work with the decorating center. So I'm also not reaching out to like 22 different suppliers to track items. We would make one phone call. So you might say 40 hours. That's crazy, Claire. It would take us at least 50 or 60. That's great. You do you, and you figure it out and you price accordingly.
Perfect. And then someone said, is designer by your side strictly done for retail?
No, we work with clients and we will have, they just know that, if we're doing custom drapery, then we're handling that side of it. And again, you got to watch, we do a 20-hour minimum. When I first started in this business, right, I did like a 5-hour minimum because I was nervous about telling someone it'd be more than $500 for services, because we're all going to start somewhere and you got to spit that number out and feel confident with it. 5 hours is, you can't even turn around in 5 hours and pick some fabric and go and show it to the client and get anywhere with if you're going forward with some sort of custom treatment or furniture layout, that sort of thing. And so what was the question again? Sorry.
It was, is designer by your side strictly retail?
Oh yeah, so retail? The answer is no. You can do both, or you can frame it and you can say, you know what, designer by your side, I'll shop you retail, and you're going to save all your custom stuff for those elite clients.
Perfect. So I think that is all the time we have for questions today. Claire, if you want to just skim through real quick, and if there's another one you can quickly answer, or if you feel needs to be answered, go ahead. Sure. But I did want to, let's see. I wanted to tell everyone about our SEO and social media offer. Let's see.
Oh, sorry, can I just quickly say this? Sandra's asking, if you're starting a video.
No, it's not a video.
Sandra's just asking on the discovery call before you meet with the clients, how would you handle them asking if you share your designer discounts? So again, it's trade. I know we call it designer discounts because we all understand that, but it is your trade pricing. And I'm not going to say this is a red flag, because here's the thing. Other designers may have said to them on the phone, hey, I can give you my designer discount. And then they're like, oh, we get a discount. But for me, I push the shift to, first of all, I'm not giving any discounts or trade pricing if it's a designer for a day. Like, I don't even get involved in purchasing. It's all one and done. But when you have someone reach out to you, unless you can re-educate them and really articulate your services and the benefits that you bring, you do not want the focus to be on your pricing. No one reviews me, my 120 plus reviews. No one says, it was so great to get Claire's discounts on tile. Or no one, right? They're all being like, oh my gosh, the details, the way you brought it together, your tradespeople were amazing. So you really need to shift this whole like designer discount. And if they start talking about it, I would literally say that to someone. I would say, you know what, we do get trade pricing, but I also need to make a living. And, so our clients don't hire us for that. Our clients hire us for the look, for the ease of less stress, for take away the overwhelm, and for us to take care of all this. So you just have to spin it. Just remember, you're in control. You got to spin it.
Perfect. Someone said that they love that answer. I do too.
I know. So I gave it.
And remember, you can always message her on Instagram if you have any questions. I know there are a ton of questions that we didn't get to, but there were so many, and they just kept coming, and they were all really great. So I did just want to tell you guys about this. So you can contact us, Wingnut Social, for a free SEO or Instagram audit consultation. And so you can do that today or tomorrow. It is valid for those 2 days. Just email Shasta@wingnutsocial.com to schedule. And it is right up here on the screen. But, if you forget that, if you can't remember or something, you can always just message us on Instagram at Wingnut Social. And I just wanted to say, if you watched today, remember to tag us on your stories at Wingnut Social and at Claire Jefford. We would love to see who watched, who joined today. And yeah, we can share those on our stories as well. So yeah, that.
I'm taking a picture of all those questions. Those were a lot of questions.
Yeah, there was a ton and they were great. But yeah, definitely reach out to Claire if we did not get to your question. I'm so sorry. We ran out of time, But thank you all for joining, and thank you, Claire, for being on here. Your presentation was wonderful, very helpful.
Thank you.
As you can tell, so many people were asking questions, so yeah, it was wonderful. Thank you, everyone.
Awesome. Thank you for having me. Thanks to Darla. I hope you're feeling better soon. Bye, guys. Cheers.
Bye.